So in 2019, we saw what was the fourth, what Evo says is the fourth coup attempt against him. And this is the first successful one. Um, and so, beginning early on in the year, we saw different sectors of the right wing, including the Medical College of Bolivia, these kind of like right wing doctors associations, carry out a series of strikes, threatening the government, saying they weren't going to provide medical care. They're just generally against, the accessibility of healthcare and want to keep healthcare private, and for profit. So that made a lot of international media headlines. Then we saw, later in the year, midway through 2019, we began to see the environment becoming a big issue in Bolivia. The Chiquitinía fires got a lot of coverage, both in the mainstream media. It got coverage in the national media in Bolivia, then the international press, and all of the agencies, the main agencies being Reuters, AP, AFP, and FA, and then some of the other mainstream papers now that are online. And they were reporting, kind of perpetuating this idea that is used against leftist governments, that leftist governments, such as the movement towards socialism and Evo, are bad on issues like the environment. I mean, this is a completely new idea. Evo Morales has been a leader on environmental issues, and that's actually what he was known for when he took power in the 2000s. And so it's really bizarre that they came around to turn this narrative using these, destabilizing actors with very clear links to the US State Department and to US funding to be able to, churn out this new narrative using the press. And not only that mainstream foreign press, but also alternative media was really key in this and in all of these cases, because in a lot of, what's supposedly leftist media, they ended up publishing, at the very height of the moment when these countries and these peoples of Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Bolivia needed solidarity most, they were publishing op-eds or, things from some of their own editors or editorial board, which was actually, just kind of corresponded with the narrative that was being disseminated by the State Department at that time in favor of a coup. And so we saw right-wing outrage over the environment, sectors that traditionally have never cared about environmental issues, about social issues, really. All of a sudden now, what's in the playbook is that, the US State Department and the CIA is really promoting these issues of identity, these social issues. They're saying that not only is the MAS bad on issues of the environment, but also indigenous issues, which is completely, berserk. It's totally bizarre to even say, because the MAS literally receives more than half, the vast majority of the vote when it goes to elections, both on a national level for the presidential elections, but also in the municipal and gubernatorial elections. They receive, they win most seats. They have majorities in both houses, and this is a party that's made up of grassroots organizations. It's made up of women's indigenous organizations. It's made up of their support base is many communities, where if you were to look at an electoral map, you would just see huge swaths of blue across the board, where the majority of the country of the map of Bolivia would just be covered in blue, because they have a block vote, because that's how strong of support the MAS has gained or continues to receive in these different regions of the country. And these regions, a lot of them are, the vast majority of them are indigenous, such as the Department of Potosí, Oruro. These are places where the indigenous people live, and they vote MAS. But they were trying to say during this time that, and they're trying to say it once again, that the MAS and Evo was bad on indigenous issues. I mean, absolutely, most people in Bolivia will tell you that's completely wrong, but that was being published in a lot of foreign press.